Welcome back to Let's Play Trails on the Sky the Third. My name's Karsten. I did a bit off screen, put Renee in the party, got some levels in, arranged some orbments and equipment. While it was leveling up, I found these kitty suits, which add 30 speed and a movement, and which having over 100 speed and really like 123 and 131 for Kevin and Joshua really is going to be nice. I hope I have good orbments set up. I've got everyone healed up, full CP, and what I'd like to do is start going through some of the doors. I did find this one here, which is here. I managed to completely avoid seeing it. Wow, I took damage there. That was unexpected. Fortunately, that's easy to take care of. She has ingenuity too. Do that. And I'll probably be back up to full already. But what I want to do now actually is go to her star door. What, I wasn't even looking at that. What I want to do is go to her star door, which is 10. Bring to me the girl who plays with a giant doll. Whoever inside a trial awaits her. Should this be able to deter you, open the door and step inside. Are we going to get the cool music? Overcome the trial before you, then I shall grant you a memory fragment and my blessing. Actually, I don't know that she has good anti-status altering stuff. But what she does have is some arts that hit everyone. Let's start with that and see if we can avoid getting interrupted. How much damage does that do? Oh, oh yeah, let's do her craft, because we haven't seen this yet. 50% KO, wow. And they're all within range of it. Oh, well, let's take care of this guy, which almost. That one's gone. Yeah, we just need to take care of that guy. There we go. Didn't get her up to 130 because the stuff I was fighting started giving really low experience. You've overcome the trial, thus shall I grant you a memory fragment and my blessing. Gordius class tactical archaism development plan. Author 13 factories. Codename Potter Mutter. Plan overview. We intend to develop a cutting edge. What's that? I'm trying to figure out the best way to pronounce that. Archaism. I guess archaism. That inherits the DNA of the rest of the Gordius series while containing a more advanced control system. It will retain the same tactical effectiveness that was the primary development goal in previous models, while allowing for more flexible and precise strategic use as well. Radius. The archaism is intended to be accessible across the whole continent. Powerful main and sub-engines should allow it to operate for several years without resupplying. Autonomous combat ability. The use of the Mars Integrated Orbital Arithmetic Logic Unit will allow for advanced autonomous combat and effective identifying of targets. In addition, the Archaism control system will make use of the operator's nervous system, allowing for reflexive, instinctive movements in combat. The operator will communicate with the Archaism without being in physical contact with it. This will require a compatible candidate to be found and chosen. Dimensions. Overall height, 15.5 arg. Unit weight, 55 torms. 68 torm when fully armed. Armaments. Archaism's primary weapon will be its orbital energy cannons. They'll have other kinds of orbital weaponry and even several gunpowder-powered weapons as backup. It will also have a revival system, which will use an orbment to generate healing energy to heal or revive its operator in times of danger. The armor plating will be made using Credaligon Ally. Credaligon is the most fitting material to use, given that it is the most capable we have access to in all regards. For data regarding strength, see files on Gospel Plan. We're in progress. New engines. Development is proceeding smoothly in line with the plans drawn up by Professor Novartis. Tests have also confirmed that they are already capable of providing power to the actuators. However, the professor has raised concerns about the low responsiveness of the flight engine. This is especially true for the anti-gravity generator. He concluded that the engine as it stands cannot be put into actual use. The possibility of using boosters to provide additional propulsion is under consideration. Actuators. Development of the actuators is experiencing significant difficulty, as it isn't possible to simply use the same ones as other archaisms. The increased size of the main weaponry means the archaism's weight during combat is significant, and as a result, problems have been occurring in durability tests, especially with the leg joints. It may be possible to make improvements in this area by using precise control so the weight burden is spread evenly rather than focused on one point. Main armaments. The orbital energy cannons that will serve as its primary armaments have been successfully tested. However, by order of Professor Novartis, the possibility of them becoming twin mounts is being analyzed, so they have yet to be equipped. The new orbital engines are expected to be able to provide enough energy to compensate for the necessary increase in output. Control system. Experiments regarding the control system are currently ongoing. For the results of the experiments that have been carried out so far, see a separate entry. Experiment results. Tests of the control system continue to be performed. However, none of the test subjects have been able to realize the expected level of precision we're aiming for. The results of the main tests conducted by Professor Novartis and his team can be viewed above. Test subject A1, abnormality during phase 2, comatose. Test subject B3, abnormality during phase 3, cardiac arrest. Test subject C1, abnormality during phase 1, insanity. Subject E7, abnormality during phase 2, comatose. Subject E3, abnormality during phase 2, cardiac arrest. Subject F2, during phase 2, comatose. Subject G4, comatose. Subject H1, comatose. Subject I6, abnormality during phase 4, mental breakdown. As can be seen, all the test subjects failed to adapt to the control system. Nonetheless, the Society continues to supply test subjects, and we intend to keep performing further experiments. Future development. Receive word from the Society the development is to be temporarily frozen. The reasoning is that the stability of the control system is in question. From now on, only test subjects carefully chosen by the Society will be taking part in connection tests. Test subject R3 successfully completed all 4 testing phases. Note, the subject did experience a small degree of flashbacks. Subject R3 succeeded in communicating with Potter Mutter, ascertaining the Society's intentions in regards to resuming development. Subject R3 has succeeded in operating Potter Mutter, ascertaining the Society's intentions in regards to resuming development. Story Gradius class experiment report finished. Ooh, well. Nasty stuff. Let's get back here. What? Welcome back, everyone. You okay, Renee? If you're feeling tired, why don't you rest here in the garden for a bit? All the others are here, you wouldn't be alone. I'm not tired at all. I've just got something on my mind. Something on your mind? Like what? Well, I suppose it can't hurt. Let me give it a try. Mutter. I knew you'd come. Mutter, switch to standby mode. Alright, that's that. Renee Lynn Pottermotter S-Craft. Yeah, set that as the S-Break. Renee? What? And why do you all look so surprised? This world can be directly influenced by people's thoughts. We've established that much already. So why wouldn't Pottermotter come for me? Okay. Would have been even more interesting if it had stayed there. But okay, let's get this back up. Let's do the trial for Stardoor 11. See if we can overcome this here. Let's go for it. Excuse me. Overcome the trial before you. Then I shall grant you a memory fragment and my blessing. Ooh. We've got, that one has a lot of hit points. Mirror Vanguard. Reflects Arts. So that will make it a little trickier, but I have some good physical attackers here. You will, of course, start with Grail Sphere. Now, I don't think... Oh, we do have this. Actually, do we have... Actually, I have someone that... I think Renee can do defense also. Well, let's put this on Joshua. You can do... Yeah. Zodiac. And let's do that on Richard. Okay, now we only have let's go ahead and do that. See if we can, how many of these can we hit? We can hit 3. Go for it. And do True Phantom Braid. Okay, even though there's only one target left, I want to see what this does. Oh, it does a line attack. Oh my god, that's a hell of a line attack. Let's see. You don't need 65 for that, okay. Let's just hit you with that. Well, you don't have full CP. We'll go ahead and do that anyway. Ooh, very close to dead. This should finish it off.
Good job. Keep it up.
Okay, yeah, I think this party works. You've overcome the trial, thus I shall grant you a memory fragment and my blessing. investigative report on Phantom Thief B, his crimes, his history, and his true identity. Imperial Chronicle Investigative Team. Phantom Thief B has had quite the lengthy and productive career in thievery in the Empire, and the amount of records we have been able to find on his crimes proves beyond a doubt. From numerous paintings held in the Imperial Art Gallery, to a septium crystal held in the Empire's customs warehouse, to even a cutting-edge tank held in an Imperial Army research facility. Nothing is truly safe when he desires to steal it. Conquests aren't limited to inanimate objects. He's been guilty of pretending to be a military officer and eloping with the wife of a marquis on one reported occasion. Yet, and this is perhaps the most baffling part, there is no concrete evidence to suggest he has profited from his exploits. Rather, the objects stolen usually end up in places so bizarre their owners are liable to faint upon hearing about them. In other cases, they are transformed into mirror, which is then rained down from the sky in areas largely inhabited by those less fortunate. Hearing this, one might be led to think him a vigilante thief who takes from the rich and giving to the poor, but make no mistake, the truth is not so simple. The wife of the Marquis discussed earlier is a fine example of that. As of this writing, it has been a little over half a year since the elopement took place. Since then, she has remained unaccounted for. Many of the items stolen by him may return to the public eye in some fashion, but not all. Between his eccentric techniques and bizarre behavior regarding the objects he steals, it might appear as though his thefts are purely whims and nothing else. Upon studying the overall picture and reviewing the objects, and indeed people, in play, you begin to see that they all have one specific thing in common. Take the artwork stolen from the Imperial Art Gallery, for example. Each of them were works of pure genius, painted by a master of their craft. But they gained a reputation for being too complex for the target audience of such works, the nobility, and were shamefully stored away instead of placed on display. Similar could be said of the septium crystal. Known for its unparalleled beauty, after being seized by customs, it was sealed away in the warehouse and doomed never to be admired by human eyes again. The tank again is one more example, with its promising development cut short. Rather than be put to good use, it was left collecting dust. As an aside, the case of the Marquis's wife does contain some striking similarities. Despite marrying her, he devoted most of his attention to his concubines and barely spared a thought for her. In conclusion, we can see now that the underlying motive for his actions is finding objects of beauty that have been abandoned by the world and freeing them from their foolish owners. No matter how the world may see his crimes, his motive is clear. The truth of that is evidence in the cards he leaves before committing his crimes. This is the so-called liberation of beauty mentioned upon each of them. Phantom Thief B steals not for money, but for an ideal he believes in. And it is in this fact, we believe, are clues to his true identity. A number of valid theories have come out on the face of behind our famed thief. Unfortunately, they are all as lacking in conclusive proof as they are numerous, and so it is impossible to say whether any of them are actually correct. Complicate matters further, we now even have deranged individuals coming forward pretending to be him and allowing themselves to be captured by law enforcement. It's not to say, however, that none of the theories circulating are at all plausible. Here we will introduce 3 such theories which have developed significant followings and may not turn out to be too far from the truth. Theory 1. Amorous con artist X. X's personal history. X is known for his exceptional skill as a con artist, having faked his own identity in order to engage in romantic relationships with many noblewomen. He was as handsome as he was capable, and he was exceptionally proud in nature as well. Born to a poor family in the temperate South, he became used to stealing in order to make ends meet from a young age. According to testimony from a companion of his at the time, he was never once caught for such thefts. Reason X converted from being a common thief to a con artist is believed to have stemmed from falling in love with a noblewoman of a much higher social standing than he. The rule of the aristocracy was absolute in the country he called home, and blessed romances between those of different classes unthinkable. With that in mind, he resolved to create a false identity in order to make his dream possible. Following his first rousing success, he came to do the same on a myriad of other occasions, indulging in one forbidden affair after another. It was a mere 10 years ago that he was arrested on suspicion of identity fraud, but he performed a miraculous escape from prison. Ever since then, his whereabouts have remained unknown. Thoughts. Both X's peerless skills as a thief and his interest in forbidden romances with noblewomen sound remarkably like what we know of Phantom Thief B. Also worth noting is that despite using his abilities of deception to court those of vast wealth, he displayed virtually no interest in their fortunes. That is to say, he gained no financial benefit from his actions whatsoever. Instead, he simply lamented that he was unable to indulge in them because of something as trivial as a social class. We conclude that this attitude bears a striking resemblance to the thief's own views on beauty. Theory 2. Tragic Artist Y. Y's personal history. Y was an artist with a rather tragic past. Born to a middle-class family in the north, he was hired by an influential aristocrat to be their personal artist, producing a stunning piece of work. However, it was later discovered wasn't all he produced. On the contrary, he was also responsible for a number of counterfeit pieces. The one who hired him sought to profit through ill means thanks to his work, and so he created such counterfeits under the noble's instructions. One day, however, Y suddenly left the noble service. The reason remains unknown. This is where his tragedy begins. Immediately after leaving his client behind, Y received a terrible piece of news. His lover, the daughter of a respected family, had been killed in a traffic accident. While there is no evidence to prove as much, it is rumored that the noble may have had a hand in her death. I was only spotted once more at his lover's grave before forever disappearing from the public eye. To those who knew his story, he became known as the truly tragic artist. Several years later, the noble was murdered. Thoughts. The story of Y still has several unsolved mysteries surrounding it, and has invited much speculation, both of which have likely led to the theory that he and Phantom Thief B are one and the same. Those aren't the only reasons, naturally. Phantom Thief B has been known at times to try and dispose of counterfeits, believing them to be false beauty. This has led some to believe that Phantom Thief B may be attempting to rid the world of counterfeits that he himself created. Lending further credibility to this is the discovery that the forgeries disposed of by Phantom Thief B were indeed the works of Y. Theory 3. Skilled martial artist Z. Z's personal history. The story of Z is significantly different from the other two potential identities we've proposed here, making this an unusual but still plausible possibility. He was born in the Far East as the son of a famed military family. He was an attractive, delicately built young man, but he was far more skilled at martial arts than his frame would have suggested, being blessed with great natural talent. He's also said to possess a keen, sharp mind, and there was a mild air of arrogance about him, too. Z was indeed blessed in nearly every way. He came from an important family, he had skill, he had looks, and as a result he came to feel bored with the world around him. He hardly kept such thoughts to himself. In fact, he often voiced his complaints to anyone within earshot. These complaints persisted until one day he simply disappeared, telling no one where he was going and leaving nothing to suggest his next destination. Thoughts. Much of this theory is based on the idea of geniuses being eccentric by nature. There are some who say that the fighting style of Z has some resemblance to the peculiar skills used by Phantom Thief B, but in terms of credibility, this theory is barely cut above many other similarly unusual suggestions. Still, the idea that the man beneath the mask is one from the East is certainly an interesting and exciting one, leading many to wish it were true, even if they find themselves doubting it actually is. That brings us to the end of our outlining 3 very different theories. Could X, Y, or Z be the true identity of Profane Phantom Thief? Or is the truth perhaps something else entirely? The only way we'll know for sure is to hear the truth from the man itself. Of course, whether we can trust anything he says is a discussion for another time. Postscript. After this article was first published, we received a card believed to be from Phantom Thief B himself at our office. The contents of the card are as follows. The truth of my identity is already within your grasp. My number reveals all. Judging by this, it's believed that one of the 3 theories proposed is the true identity of Phantom Thief B. That said, uncovering the meaning behind his words has proven to be a trying task. Will one valued reader be able to step forward and solve what we cannot? Only time will tell. Story Phantom Thief B report finished. Phantom Thief's cape. Okay. Now what does that do? Okay, increases drop rate. Move 3. Not bad. Let's see, what's the next one? Repenting Patriot. Also, I heard, we also start doing the moon doors. I heard this one actually has another section to it, even though it shows a circle like it's complete. But we'll be looking into that next time. I hope you have been enjoying. As always, likes and comments are very much appreciated. Subscribe for more if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.